My family's from Syria, so I very much still identify as a Syrian Jew, even though I've never been to Syria. And that's still something that for a lot of Jews is still very ingrained, even if it's been a few generations since being on that land.
And you mentioned this briefly, but I just want to call this out that I think that the oppression of the Palestinian people in Gaza and the West Bank and their status as second-class citizens, even on the Israeli territories, is a more well-known fact now. But I think what is less well-known is how Jews who weren't Ashkenazi Jews treated by the state of Israel, which tells you everything you need to know about what Zionism is. It's not a project for the Jews, it's a project of colonialism.
Yeah, for sure. And I'll say that that's also by design, like why the world doesn't know about this. Because for a lot of our community, we've basically been ripped out of our context. And most of Mizrahi community in Israeli society grows up with economic disadvantage. So either in very poor communities or middle class, but even if they have access to schoolings and universities, it's like oftentimes these communities don't actually learn English. And the people who are the international spokespeople and get the privileges to then travel into the Western world and speak, even on behalf of Israeli identity, tend to be very Ashkenazi. And for the majority of the last 75 plus years, it was mostly Ashkenazi Jews speaking on behalf of all Jews. And I think that even for me, having the international audience that I do and getting to speak on this is in some ways a miracle. I didn't not grow up even thinking that that was going to be a possibility for me, because growing up in Jerusalem, I grew up with such a reality of like, okay, your past was taken from you. There's no going back. There's this myth that nobody cares anymore about this identity. Nobody cares about your expression. Most of the world really knows about Judaism through the Ashkenazi lens. And also living on that land, the most important issue is Palestine and the violence against Palestinians. So then you're squashed in the in-between. So I think for me, even being able to speak about this internationally and develop a platform and having people be interested in Arab Jewish lineage and identity was not something I ever imagined could even be possible. So it's amazing to actually be like, oh yeah, I get to speak for myself. That's how I sometimes felt around growing up as an Arab Jew and like Jewish communities, that like, oh my gosh, can I really speak about the racism and discrimination of Zionism in the Israeli state and the Ashkenazi Jewish world, the levels of erasure. So it actually still feels sometimes I'm like, oh wow, I guess it feels like a bit scary or edgy. Like, can I really speak about this all the way?